And it doesn't have to be good.
No.
It could be terrible, and you can hate it. But at least you did the thing. You made something, right? Even if it's really bad.
As you might know, I'm a Marvel fan. And you have some really cute X-Men, keychain kind of thing?
Yes, keychains.
You've drawn those, right?
Yes.
Why X-Men?
I grew up watching X-Men on, I think it was Jetix, the kids channel, that showed kind of randomly X-Men episodes. So when X-Men 97 came out, that was kind of the continuation of the older series. I was like, I'm getting pulled back into the fandom. And then I really got deep into it again. Then I went back and watched the old one, and I picked up the comics again. And then it's like a nostalgic thing.
So the keychains they're fairly new addition to your store.
They kind of started on the as a result of the X-Men 97 series starting up again, and it kind of re-sparking my my enjoy for the series.
Yeah, but you don't only draw X-Men, right?
No, I have mostly more original stuff than fan art. I mean, fan art is a very key aspect of doing conventions and selling and everything. But I do, all of my buttons are original. I do stickers that are original. I have tote bags and socks that are original, that are kind of more along the lines that things that I like to make for me, but I also found out other people enjoy as well, which is very fun. So more of the silly kind of silly sort of things that I like to make.
But that's usually how it goes. Like you make some fan art to fund your original art.
Kind of. But then I am in the privileged position that my original stuff sells better than my fan art, actually, on the whole. So the fan art is also kind of for me. It's like the X-Men stuff, for example. I made that because I wanted to make that for me. It's not my best-selling item.
but it's really cute.
Yeah, it was fun to make and it's fun to have, because when people connect with it, it's like, yes, X-Men fans, and then we get to bond.
Yeah, it's like I got my girlfriend to draw the Marvel characters as cats, right? Yeah. And that's for me.
That's for me, which I feel like we should be allowed to do.
Yeah. But you said that you sell more originals than fan arts, and that must be really, really great.
It's really that kind of, because I have only been doing conventions properly for a year. So I had my first one a year ago, which was more like, fan art, a little bit of original art, which was like my first tote bag. And then that sold out very fast. And I was like, maybe original stuff is like the way to go. So I tested that more and more, and then kind of found out that the kind of more silly, goofy things is something that people enjoy, and then I enjoy, which, it kind of goes a symbiotic relationship there. But it's very fun to have people get very excited over like original things, like stupid little buttons, and I'm like, yay! People like find themselves in like my original art, which is very fun.
Yeah, because what you make is really, it's cute and it's silly.
Yes.
And that's a really good combination. I know my girlfriend bought some socks from you.
Yeah.
Some geese.
Some goose butts.
Yes. They're really cute.
Yeah, thank you.
I haven't worn them yet, but...
No, I hope they're comfy. They're comfortable. But yeah, so a lot of like buttons, for example, is stuff that I relate to. So when people are like, that's me, and I'm like, same, because I made that because that's also me. And then you get to like bond with people over that, which is very cool.
Yeah. How did you start drawing? Is that...
I think like I've always done creative things since I was very young, but it's been a bunch of different things. So like sewing or painting or play or drawing or everything in between. And then I kind of got really into drawing when I started doing graphic design, actually. And I was like, the kind of design that I like to make is the very illustrative type. And I was like, okay, so be able to do that, I should probably get back into drawing, because then I can draw everything myself and kind of get my ideas properly onto the page. And then I kind of snowballed from there and then got really into it again. And then it was like, I should try doing my first convention. And then, that went really well. This was really fun. And then you just keep going.
Do you draw digitally or?
Yes, mostly
Yeah.
digitally.
Yeah.
A lot of the like sillier stuff I sketch in my sketchbook actually first, like traditionally, and then I kind of scan it in and then refine it digitally because it's kind of the spur of the moment sort of thing. It's like, oh, that would be funny and really dumb. I should probably draw that, and then I kind of continue
Yeah.
off of that.
What are your setup like? What do you draw with? Are you?
Digitally, I have my MacBook and I have my like drawing tablet.
Yeah.
So there's like a two-piece situation there. A lot of people have iPads. I'm not quite there yet, but maybe sometime or someday. But I kind of got my drawing tablet as part of my graphic design course because it kind of that's the way that I like to work, move stuff around with my arm, my whole arm, instead of just like the little mouse pad on my MacBook. And then traditionally, it's mostly pen and paper,
Yeah.
really, or pencil and paper. I mean,
Yeah. For
like sketches and just getting stuff down. If I actually like finish a piece traditionally, I like to just go in with Poscas because it's kind of you have to commit to what you're doing. So once you draw it, it's like that's the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a good way to just do it and don't get too hung up on it. It has to look really good for you to finish it. It's kind of you just have to make the decision and live with it. And then if it doesn't turn out good, okay, well at least you finished it and then you can move on.
Yeah, that's like with digital, you can always go back and move a line.
Yeah.
Thinking with when I do 3D modeling,
Yeah.
and I do something and then look at it again, and this doesn't look quite right.
No,
And you go back and tweak a little bit. With pen and paper, it's like you sketch and then you draw with the line art, and that's how it is now.
That's how it is now. So yeah, I do a lot of. I like to finish my things digitally because of that. Because you can move stuff around and you can change your mind, which is better when you're trying to like finish an actual product. But for just finishing a drawing, for like a challenge or like an Inktober sort of situation, I like to just have the, what's the word, like the difference between those two kind of ways to work, where you have to kind of just live with your decisions and there's nothing you can do about it, but then it's like, okay, I can always try again next time.
Fair. Your art style really lends itself to the digital kind of
Yeah.
quirkiness in your style.
Yeah.
Oh. But you mentioned earlier that you do more than just drawing, because you have I saw some Zelda inspired.
So those little like clay Koroks have kind of a funny origin story. So we, where I work, we do Secret Santa. And my colleague that I had 1 year, she really loves Zelda. And I was getting into clay at that time. And I was like, oh, maybe I should try to make her like little Koroks that she can hang on her Christmas tree. So I did that, and that was really fun. And they turned out like really cute, and she loved those. And I was like, maybe I could make more of those and just see if other people are interested. And then people really seem to enjoy them. Like even if people don't buy them, they're like, oh my God, Koroks, I hate those guys. And you get to bond over how annoying they are in the game. And it's quite fun. So I do like little ones and like the big ones with the backpack that you have to help along in the game, which people are like, I hate them, but I also love them, but I hate them. And it's like, again, a good like conversation piece with people. And it's fun that people, kind of find enjoyment in it.
What do you make them out of? Polymer clay?
Air dry
Yeah.
clay. So all of my things that I do in clay, both the again Koroks, but also the original stuff I have, some trinket dishes and some little photo holders, are all air dry clay. There is also polymer clay, but I again kind of like the make decisions and stick with it sort of thing, because air dry you have only a certain amount of time to work with, and then that's the shape it's going to be. So you kind of have to work a little bit faster.
Do you make? Do you have molds you use, or is
No, everything is
unique?
handmade. Yes,
Yeah.
so everything is unique.
Yeah, so you don't have a stamp to get a leaf or something. It's just
I carve everything out.
That's impressive.
By hand. Thank you. Well, no, so I do everything manually, one by one, and then I paint them by hand, and then seal them and everything.
Yeah, they look amazing, and they're so cute.
Well, no, because I've done a lot of miniature painting, like Warhammer painting, for many years. So it kind of lends itself to that, to paint little figures.
Yeah, that's. I wouldn't have guessed it, but when you say it, it like kind of shows that you know how to paint and how to Because that's a different skill altogether, because everybody can paint something. Everybody can paint a wall, right?
Yes.
But painting small things and making them look the scale they should be, that's an art.
Yeah, because obviously there's a big gap between painting Warhammer figures and my figures, but it's not like, it doesn't have to be necessarily lifelike, but it has to look good in the context that it's supposed to be, right? So if you kind of look at the way they're painted, it is relatively simple, but it has to be accurate, right? You have to keep it clean. So there's a lot of painting, and they're like, I kind of nudged it a little bit there, I gotta go in and fix it. And yeah, but it's also not as small as like a Warhammer figurine, which I find better because it's less of the like squinting to see like all the tiny little eyeball that you have to
and
get.
And a little brush with just one hair.
So the pupils don't go like different directions and everything. But no, I quite enjoy it. The like crafted by hand thing, and the bit where every single one of them is unique. So some of them might be a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller, but it's kind of the charm of it that everything is made by hand, and therefore everything is going to be a little bit different.
But that's like true to the real world as well, because not everything is the same size.
No.
You have this little variations, and it being handmade just makes sense. Do you have any people you look up to for inspiration, or who teaches you things, or just?
I mean, I have the kind of way that I got into the convention space in this regard, like actually having stand and selling things and everything, was through my colleagues at work actually that do the same thing. And I was like, oh, I can kind of learn from them and kind of how do you do this and kind of get into it and test it out. So that's been quite a big help to kind of learn the ropes of things. I think I'm quite fortunate to know people that are in the space already that can kind of guide and help and give tips and everything. Because it is a little bit daunting maybe to try to just jump right into, which I feel mad respect to people who do that. Like when I talk to people and they're like, oh, it's my first time, and I'm like, yay, it's so fun. And I'm like, I remember being there, even though it's not that long ago. I've managed to kind of grow a lot in that year, which I'm very fortunate to have been able to do. But I think in terms of, it kind of reflects itself in the style that I do as well, but I just love simple, silly things that make you feel happy in the moment. You know, like that little dopamine rush, a little bit of serotonin right then and there.
Punch in the face.
Yes, like there's so many artists out there that are so great at doing like the deep introspective, like where you have to think about it, and it's like
watch this for an hour, just
or like read this comic. It's really insightful, and I love reading that sort of stuff, but that's not the kind of like artist that I am. So I'm like, I'll leave that to those people that are really good at that, and then I'll make silly little geese on the side.
You want the people who just blow a little more air out the nose. And then this is fun.
Like, that's honestly my favorite part. Again, even if people don't buy anything, it's just people walking by and they're like, oh my God, I love that. And then they laugh and then they move on. And I'm like, that makes me very happy.
But you mentioned that you had colleagues that also do art stands, which I would then venture a guess that you do creative kind of work as...
Kind of. I work at Outland. It's my day job in Stavanger. And then obviously where we are right now, my colleague Vinted is right next to me in the artist alley. So obviously they've helped me a lot. I have another colleague there as well, Vesen Art, that also does art stands. They've both helped me. But yeah, so I kind of have, in terms of, for example, making socks. We have a lot of socks in the store, so I kind of got to learn from that as well, seeing the products that we have. But it is quite creative in maybe ways that people don't think about.
Yeah.
In terms of, obviously when you're at a convention, you are technically at work. When you're at your stand and you're kind of branding yourself, right? And you're giving people an experience when they come to your stand. They'll definitely say that sort of customer service experience creativity of doing, because I also do like visual merchandising, for example, at my work. So that is also very helpful in terms of like, I'm setting everything up and like making sure that people have a good experience. Even if they don't get anything, they can like look at stuff and maybe interact, talk about stuff. It is very helpful in that regard, having kind of a retail-y sort of experience and just talking to people.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people, when they kind of start having art stands and stuff, they kind of use it as a, hey, I'm challenging myself to kind of talk to people and get over like my fear of interacting with strangers or people I don't know, or it's very vulnerable to take something that you've made and put it in a space like this and be like, hey, you can just come by, judge this however you like, and you get to say it right to my face because I'm right here.
Yeah.
Like it's quite...
Like with Outland, people can say, I don't like this, and you're like, fair.
And I'm like, that's fair, I didn't make it.
And here he's like, I don't like it. They're like, oh.
And I'm like, cool.
Just go cry in the...
No, like I thankfully I haven't really had those experiences. People usually just look at stuff and walk by. They don't really say anything.
Yeah.
But even if they did, it's hard, or it's easier, like you said, when you work in a shop. It's like, oh, we're selling products that other people have made. Even if I really love that thing, it has nothing to do with me personally.
Yeah.
But then keeping that same mindset, if people don't like something that you've made, is a little bit harder. But it is like, okay, I need to think it's not a personal attack on me. It's just an opinion, and people are allowed to have those.
Yeah, as long as they align with mine.
Yeah, of course, obviously.
Of course.
Yeah. Duh.
But working at the Outland, that like exposes you to a lot of inspirations, because they have a lot of cool things.
Yes.
Usually mass-produced stuff,
Yeah.
but still a lot of fan art, a lot of cool niche items that Norway isn't necessarily known to cater to. No,
it's interesting actually in terms of that, because Stavanger is a coastal town. So there's a lot of cruise ships that come by, and you can kind of tell that the nerds have already done their research before they come, and they're like, oh, we knew that the shop was here because we looked it up, and we're like, are there any nerd shops, because we need to know. And then they come right to us and they're like, yes, we came here for this because we like Googled it and saw that there was going to be a nerd shop here. So it is kind of, again, it's not something I think that Norway is really known for. Like if you go to England, for example, it's like there's so many different like other small comic book shops, or even chains like Forbidden Planet, for example, which is kind of the equivalent there. But there's more of the like, I think it's a bit more usual to have those like mom and pop shops.
Smaller comic book stores.
That aren't necessarily beholden to a bigger kind of brand or anything.
And I like on the top of my head, I can't really think of any other like nerd stores like Outland.
No, I mean they do exist in Norway. There are like other smaller shops and everything that usually niche in more instead of having everything. They kind of select other things, which I mean Outland started as that as well. It's just kind of grown exponentially since that time. But it is interesting to be in that sort of yay! The last pair of socks just just went. I see it in the distance. Yay! But no, that oh, now I lost my train of thought.
But Outland is like a staple. But I love going in there. I love talking to the people there. The people that work there are usually okay. When you have a normal shop, when you go in there, the people that work there are like, oh, this is a job. I do this for money. And in Outland, you have that too, but you also have the nerds that work there, and they know everything. And that's unique. That people, you ask them for advice, and they give you the 10-page lore behind the item you're looking at.
It is the draw of a physical store, right? It's kind of like, it's hard, or I'm sure they exist, that people are super passionate about this very specific food item in a food shop, for example. But it's fewer and far between probably than in a nerd shop, where a lot of the people that work there like started as a customer at some point, right, and got really involved in the local community maybe, and they're like, oh, we're already involved in all these things that you have in this store. So it's very rare to have the thing of like, I don't really know what Outland is, but I'll apply, I guess. It's kind of like
it's a job, I guess.
It's a job, I guess. No, but it is that pull of a physical store, to go in and talk to an actual person that has an opinion about a product that you're interested in, and he can actually tell you, oh yeah, I played this board game, for example, and I really liked that it was like this and this and this, but if you don't like that, maybe this is more of your style, instead of scrolling through pages and pages and being like, I don't know which one of these is going to fit my taste.
No, it's really nice with a physical store like that, and we need more of that in Norway, but it's Outland is very spread out and covers a lot of the country by now. So
and now who knows? Maybe we'll be even more north than Bodø at some point. But
there's not many people living up north, so I can see why they haven't expanded that far yet.
Oh, it's a gradual thing.
Yeah.
But I remember the people were very excited about Bodø because it was like, finally the north. And then the people in the actual north were like, you've only gone halfway. It's like, I'm sorry. Gotta start somewhere.
You said you've done art stands for a year.
Yeah.
That's not. I feel like I've seen you everywhere. Is that because you're following us around?
Oh yes, 100%. Because I wanted to do this specifically. I'm playing mind games. I'm playing the long con.
Okay, I see. Yes. I see.
Well, it's because I'm from Stavanger. That's where I'm based. Obviously, we have Metrocon, which is the local con. That was my first con last year.
Yeah.
And then there's another smaller one at Sola, which we've also met at the Metrocon.
Yeah.
And then. I've been fortunate enough to get into other cons that I've applied to and kind of been able to build up from there.
Yeah.
So maybe it's like a divine intervention that we're at the same place at the same time.
It's really nice seeing that you are getting spots or getting a stand at a lot of different conventions, and this is pretty far away. This is 6-7 hours drive away.
5.5.
5.5. Well, okay.
But still long.
Yeah, it is. Are you the kind of person that are able to take a plane when you go to art stands, or do you need a car?
I could probably fly.
Yeah.
But it's way more expensive than driving often. And what I prefer about driving is that you can just shove the car full to the brim of stuff, and you don't have to worry about weight. You don't have to worry about, like, how are you going to get to and from the airport?
Yeah.
How are you going to get from the airport to where you're staying? It's just the fact that we could like drive our stuff just down here, drop it off, and then drive back. It's those little things that kind of add up when you're traveling, that because make it worth it to drive.
The plane ride down here would be faster than driving, but then you'd have to first get to Sola in Stavanger, and then you have to get to from Torp to here, and so it really evens out.
Yes, if you think about like cost, then yes, you have to like take an extra day off to drive down, for example. That costs something, but then you have to think in a lot of ways of stuff that has to do with traveling for cons or just cons in general. Is the convenience worth the price that you're paying? Right? Because it is often very long days. You're here for like 10 hours. 2, maybe 3 days in a row. And then it's kind of like, okay, I could do the cheaper route, but I'm already on my feet like for hours at a time. And it's like, okay, maybe I'll just pay a little bit more to be a little bit closer so I don't have to travel as far or
This is one of the few cons that we are not staying at a hotel.
No, because you're not that far away.
No, it's like 25 minutes drive. So, but usually we find a hotel close, so we don't have to stress because you're stressed enough as it is
with everything else.
Just to go back to your art. Some people I've talked to are working under a set deadline, right? to make stuff, to deliver stuff, and they have deliverables they need to meet,
Yes.
right? You don't live under the same criteria, right? Because you make for yourself and you make your art stand.
Yeah.
But even those, I would assume, end up with an art block. You don't know what to make or how to make it, or you're just tired and out of inspiration. So what do you do? How do you overcome that?
So my my brain works a little bit weird in this way. I don't have a lot of art blocks because I have the like innate sense of I have to be doing something all the time. I have to do something. I have to complete stuff. Not really. I don't have ADHD that I know of. But it's kind of like I like to complete things. I like to do things. So if I don't have, if I can't draw something, for example, maybe I'll be like, okay, but I could make something in clay, and then that clears it. I'm like, oh, I'll make a couple of Koroks, and I'm like, oh, I'll have this idea. Or I'll watch a movie, and I'll be like, oh, I laughed at that. And then I think of something completely unrelated for like a sticker design of, like my goose with 3 double chins. I'd be like, oh, that is not related at all, but it triggered something, some sort of thought, you know.
I
love to play games, you know, lots of different ones. I had, obviously now I'm playing Silk Song, so I'm like, oh, we're going to Spill Expo.
Yeah.
Maybe I should draw some Silk Song, and then I'll start doing that. And then whether or not it turns into like a product is a kind of unrelated thing, but it's fun to just kind of get it down.
Yeah. So basically, what you're saying is, if you're stuck, do something.
Do something.
Do something.
It doesn't even have to be related to drawing.
Yeah.
You can do anything.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, I don't know, kind of, what's the word? Try to figure out what it is that's blocking you. Is it that you're like, I don't know how to draw this hand? Is that the reason you can't finish the drawing? Then it's like there's a lot of stuff you can find online that could teach you how to draw that weird hand angle. And even if it isn't that, you can just scribble on a page, draw anything. It doesn't even have to be related to what you're trying to complete. It could just be anything. It is very normal that I think we actually talked about this earlier with someone else as well, about doing warming up before you start drawing. Because you're going to have to, it's like a muscle, right? You have to kind of stretch and warm up before you start. And then doing that kind of primes your brain to be in that space.
Be in the creative mindset. Yeah.
Or it's kind of creating to create, not creating because you're like, oh, I want to make this thing so that I can sell this thing in 3 weeks, which is like also fair. We all do that when we have art stands, but like also remembering to just do art for art itself.
Yeah. Make, like, the difference between making something as a product versus making something to make something.
Yes.
Like, no strings attached, no pressure, no nothing. Just make.
Just make something.
Make, put it in a drawer.
And it doesn't have to be good.
No.
It could be terrible and you can hate it. But at least you did the thing. You made something. Right? Even if it's really bad or you think it's really bad and it's not at all what you wanted to make, you've at least completed, you've done all the steps, right? You've started, you kind of kept going, even if you hated it, you finished it, even if you thought it was really bad. And it's like, okay, but at least I have that page in my sketchbook now, and I know that it's done. I can move on to something else. And you'll always learn something, right? When you draw anything. Or if you talked about somebody about clay as well today, about doing clay stuff, and being like, oh, I tried to do this and this, but I couldn't figure it out. And it's like, it's one of those things you just have to keep going and try stuff. That's kind of when you find the again, a lot of my some of my buttons, I didn't sit down to draw to make a design, right? I just drew something and I was like, oh, that made me laugh.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was funny. Maybe it'll make someone else laugh. And then you kind of go from there. I don't know, for a lot of artists, me included, like games and fan art is a really good way to just get out of like any sort of block, really. It's just like, this is a character that I really like. I'm just gonna scribble them a bunch of times, or I'll draw them, or like if you play D&D, like you could draw your character or anything. Like it's that's a great way. to get out of a block if you play D&D.
Yeah.
To draw your character.
Yeah.
Draw your character because you have 100% control over what that character looks like.
Yeah.
And all
you
the
don't have
design
a
details.
to
No. And you don't have like, oh, they're supposed to look like this. I didn't really get the face right, or the proportions are a little off. And it's like, it's a very amorphous sort of thing anyway that you yourself made. You could decide that that person has a really short torso because you messed up the torso. Like, it's fine.
It's how he is.
It's how he is, right? Yeah.
I like to end these conversations with a moonshot, like being a big dream, a big goal, or something you want to achieve. Do you have a moonshot?
That's a good question. I think maybe part of what I'm especially enjoying now is the like apparel part of the stuff that I'm making, like socks, for example. I want to make socks. That was really fun. But I think it would be really cool to have like my own brand of like apparel stuff.
Yeah.
Like what I'm wearing right now, for example, is a small brand that I bought this from that makes clothes and makes apparel, which is like a good source of inspiration, which I'm also like, those things are really cool. Maybe I could also do that at some point. But it's a bit amorphous, but I think just continuing to evolve in kind of the way that feels natural. It is because I've only been in this like hardcore for a year, and where I am now is not at all where I thought I was going to be a year ago. It's very hard to be like, I want to shoot for that, because it could end up being something completely different. But I like to think that you just got to keep kind of challenging yourself and kind of following the part that you think is more fun. Like an example for me, doing more original stuff. Yeah. It's kind of where I kind of found my niche in a way. And now everyone is like, oh, you're the person with all the geese. Yeah. And I'm like, yes, I'm the person with all the geese and frogs. And then that's kind of been my brand now. And I'm like, okay, I guess that's me. Yeah. But
it would be interesting to see more kind of apparel with your designs on them.
Yes.
Because I would, like, my gut instinct for that is that it would be very cute and very silly and very fun. And like, wearing that would make people like laugh a little bit, at least on the inside.
At least on the inside, yeah. I think it's fun to make things for adults, but that is kind of silly and childish in a way, where it's like, I know we're all grown-ups and we have jobs and mortgages or whatever, but you're still allowed to buy like a stupid tote bag with a goose on it and have fun, you know? It's allowed.
It's allowed.
You don't have to be boring just because you're over 30.
Fair enough, yeah. I agree. Well, do you have anything else that we haven't covered now?
I don't think so. I feel like we've kind of woven through.
Gone through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having this talk. That was quite interesting.
It was you learn a lot, and I have shot a lot of B-roll of your stand, so people can see what you make, and there will be links to where they can get it as well. Yeah. So
maybe in the future I'll have a web shop.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I would hope so. Maybe that's my moonshot, is having a web shop.
Well, anyway, thank you.